So the Gemara tells us in Baba Kama, other places, that both Ezra and Moshe instituted Krias HaTorah. There's a discussion how much came from Moshe, how much came from Ezra. So we'll just go with Ezra for simplicity's sake. But Ezra and Moshe both played a role in setting up Krias HaTorah. So we know we read the Torah, generally speaking, Sheni v'Chamishi, Monday and Thursday, as well as Shabbos and Shabbos Mincha. And we have, so the Minhag Yisrael is on a Sheni v'Chamishi, we have 3 Aliyahs, and on a Rosh Chodesh, a Chol Hamoed, we have 4. Yontif 5. It's a machlokas in the Mishnah, Megillah, between Yom Kippur and Shabbos. Who gets 6 and who gets 7? We paskin Yom Kippur 6 and Shabbos 7. And from here, there's a whole. This could be also the issue. Some people discuss what is the holiest day of the year. Is it Shabbos or is it Yom Kippur? This could, according to the Ran, this could be the issue because the Ran says the number of aliyahs you have, that determines, and not determines, based on the Kedushas Hayom, Chazal picked the amount of aliyahs. So the more aliyahs you have in that day, the higher level Kedusha. So according to what we paskin, then with the Ran, then Shabbos is the holiest day of the year, even holier than Yom Kippur. So therefore, we have 6 on Yom Kippur and 7 on Shabbos. So the Minhag Yisrael is that we call up, assuming there's one available, a Kohen first, a Levi second, and then the rest are Yisrael, and sometimes for Akaron we could call them in. And if there's no Kohen, so then you could give a Levi, or you could give a Yisrael. It's this, once the Kohen's not there, so some say the whole bundle is destroyed. You could call anyone, and others have a minute that you call the Levi. If there's no Levi in Shul, and I'll have to confess, it's never happened to me. I've never been in Shul without a Levi. So it's hard to know what actually happened. It's hard to believe this.
Thank you.
But then the Kohen sometimes gets 2 aliyahs, different ways of doing it. So why does the Kohen get the first aliyah? So there's a pasuk in the Torah, it's the Kidashto. But actually, truth be told, it wasn't always that way that a Kohen got the first aliyah. Really, Midin HaGemara, it doesn't go to the Kohen. Talmud Chacham. It used to be the biggest Talmud Chacham in the room, Torah scholar. They got the aliyah. In fact, the minhag in Europe was not for. They did Kohen and Levi, that part. But let's say the biggest Talmud Chacham got Shlishi every week. The second biggest Talmud got Rabbi. The same people got, unless someone caught up in learning, forgot. But generally speaking, it was the same aliyah as the minhag in Europe. But that's a joke they say over in Europe. The rabbi spoke twice a year, Shabbos Tshuva and Shabbos Haggadah. The Shabbos before Yom Kippur and the Shabbos before Pesach. He spoke twice a year, but he got an aliyah every week. In America, the rabbi speaks every week, and he's lucky to get 2 aliyahs in a year. I mean, not here, but okay. But so the point being is really Midin HaGemara, the Talmud Chacham takes precedence. So if it's Midin HaGemara, so why did it change? How come the Talmud Chacham's not getting the first aliyah when there's a Kohen? So that's a minhag a takanas hagaonim. The Gaonim came later on and said, you know what? It's not so easy to tell who's the bigger Talmud Chacham. There'll be a big fight. What do you mean? I know more than this guy. Whatever the issues might have been, as we'll see, for Kohen also there'll be a darkly sholem tikkun olam mishum. But they said, we don't know who exactly. It's hard to tell. We're not giving bechinas every morning. So therefore, we're going to go with Kohen, Levi, and then Yisrael. So it's still in theory that from Yisrael on you should give the bigger Talmud Chacham, but really Midin HaGemara, the Talmud Chacham, and that's the way the Gemara says in the Rishon, it wasn't to a later Takanas Gaonim. In fact, the Vilna Gaon hung on to that old minhag. What do I mean? That means we didn't give a Kohen Levi, no. But there's later institution of Krias HaTorah on Leil Simchas Torah. We don't usually read the Torah at night. As you notice, it's only Shacharis and Mincha. The one time a year we read the Torah at night, that's Simchas Torah, and that's a later institution. That was by the Gaonim. So the Vilna Gaon, for Leil Simchas Torah, whether he was the Gabbai or told the Gabbai, he used to, well, maybe he took the first Aliyah, but whoever, he used to take the first Aliyah everywhere and then he looked around the room and gave the other Talmidei Chachamim. So he said, I'll cover that Torah, Simchas Torah, and this, you can't, there was no Takanas Gaonim on this because it didn't exist then, so he wanted to revert back to the Din HaGemara, and he used to give the Talmid Chacham the first Aliyah on Leil Simchas Torah. You know, which is less, not so much of it because in different shuls it gets into selling aliyahs and buying. That's a shiloh also. Let's say, can a non-Kohen buy Kohen? I mean, he definitely can, but can a non-Kohen buy Kohen and get it? So different shuls are different, but there are some shuls that's the minute that anyone could buy it, and they'll give on Simchas Torah. They give the biggest bidder. They'll give Kohen. You know, whether the Kohen walks out of the shul or not, we'll get into. But and the Rav Soloveitchik didn't go as far as the Vilna Gaon. They had the same idea. Leil Simchas Torah, he still gave the first Aliyah to a Kohen, the second Aliyah to a Levi. He was a Levi. But then for Shlishi, he looked around the shul and gave it to the biggest Talmid Chacham. So really, Din HaGemara, it's a Talmid Chacham. Therefore, similarly, certainly if there's no Kohen in the house, then certainly if you're not going to go with the Levi, you should go with the biggest Talmid Chacham. So therefore, so either way. So that's the halacha. So why? So what do you mean? I'm saying it's that we say the original takana was to give a Talmid Chacham, but I thought there's a pasuk in the Chumash. It says the Kidashto, referring to the Kohanim, that there's a special mitzvah to give respect to Leviim. Of course, you have to give respect to every human being and every Yid. So we mean in addition to that, there's a special cover you have to give to a Kohen. So first the Gemara talks about it in a negative sense, meaning not negative about them, but the Kiddusha, because of their level of Kedusha, it comes with different responsibilities. They can't go to a cemetery, they can't come in contact with the dead. And also there's certain people, certain women they can't marry, Grusha, etc., Uris. So that's what the Gemara learned. That's the real drush in the Gemara. The Kiddashto, in the Gemara it says, Afilo Bal Karcha. Even against, what does it mean? That if a Kohen is, a Kohen says, you know what? And it wasn't uncommon. Let's say a non-observant rabbi went to an out-of-town place and, they needed someone to take care of the funerals and all that. Amocho my kahuna. I won't take the first Aliyah, but I'm going to start going I'm going to go to the kever, etc. I'm married to a grusha. I'm mocha my kahuna. So that's what the Gemara says. Because what do you need? Because Gemara says I feel about karcha. Because even though normally you have a din of kofin or so all mitzvahs, there is a general halacha. You could force someone to do the right thing. So what do I need here? So I might think a kohen could be mocho. Okay, it's a privilege. Like all privileges, you could be mocho. No, it is a privilege that can't be revoked. It is a privilege you have to live with, and therefore you can't go into a cemetery unless it's one of the 7 relatives. And as well, you only can marry certain people. You can't marry people that the Torah says. That's clearly a din daraisa. However, the Gemara makes a secondary drasha, not only referring to that, but also to give the Kohen. How do we give cover to a Kohen? A Kohen gets the first Aliyah. You give him benching. Perhaps it says Mana Yafa. He gets the choice of the best Danish or muffin. So you give, and I had a shiloh, I think, in yeshivas. Let's say in yeshivas, like there's usually lineups for breakfast. Well, not that it's worth the lineup, but they have the shiloh was the Kohanim, they get to skip the line. In other words, in certain yeshivas they have a Kohen, or the Kohanim just because the Kiddashto, you got to give the Kohen Kedusha, so he gets the Mana Yafa. So either way, so there's a din. So if it's a din daraisa to give the Kohen the Aliyah, so how does that fit in with the Gemara? That be din ha-Gemara, the Talmid Chacham gets it. So, therefore, apparently it fits in well. If you hold this is din deraisa, then, obviously the Golim changed, that was, how does it fit in? That Medina Gemara Talmud Chacham gets them. I just want to say the Talmud Chacham Kohen gets it. But therefore, those who learn this din is also, but others, Tosas says no. The Kidashto Bal Karcha is only on the Isurim, like the Isur of who you can marry and going to a sem. But to give a Kohen Aliyah, it's a din derabanan. You still have to give him but it's not a din deraisa. That's what Tosas writes in Chum. Where does Tosas write it? Tosas writes, we have a that's it. Yeah. So that's where the Gemara talks about it. So the child is because what do you mean it's a din deraisa? The Gemara Mishnah says in Gin that a Kohen can't be mochel. If a Kohen, if he wants, he can walk out of the room. That he always could do. It's nice for him to do it, and therefore there's no conflict. But let's say a Kohen doesn't want to walk out of the room, so the Mishnah says, we'll go into detail when a Kohen can't be mochel on the first Aliyah because of tikkun ha'olam, because of darkei shalom. What do you mean? The Kohen's such a psychopath, he's going to go out and start beating people up? Well, that's a separate Gemara. Gemara talks about Kohanim do have tempers. The Gemara talks about it. Don't start up with Kohanim. I know a lot of Kohanim who are, I'm not saying in a bad way, more like how, you see it when I see the Gemara. I know a lot of Kohanim who are very strong-willed and that type of thing. But they're also, actually, I know other, but either way, so the Gemara talks about...
That's prejudice.
Not me, I'm just describing the Gemara. I know some of them. I know some Yisraelim and Levium. What do you mean? So it goes, the Gemara, but that's not what it means. The Gemara says, because Darkei Shul, because the concern, what it is, a big simcha in Shul, and you have a lot of people that give aliyahs. Oh, I like you. Okay, I'll be mocha this week. Next, I'm not being mocha. I can't stand you. And therefore, it's going to come in 1 week of mocha, so therefore, it's Darkei Shul. Minat Torah can be mocha, but midrabanan, they said, because you want to give, what?
What is mocha?
Mocha, to forgo his honor.
Forgo.
We need another aliyah, so he'll say, this week I won't take my aliyah, give it to someone else. And next week I don't like you, and I'm keeping my aliyah. And therefore we don't want to have fights breaking out in shul. So tikkun olam, darkei shalom, so therefore midrabanan, they said you can't be mocha on that. So what it means is that the rights of derabanan. So that's the whole discussion of giving the first from here. That's the Gemara Shaila. Don't we say the Kiddush? So it depends how you reconcile. So the Tosas and Chulin says it's only a din derabanan because it's a halacha of kisei hadam, and certain on Chayyis you shech the animal and then you cover up the blood with earth. There's a mitzvah of kisei covering hadam. So who gets the mitzvah? Who has first shot at the mitzvah? Misha shachad hu yachasa. The one who did the shchita, the shochet, he's the one who gets the mitzvah. It's his mitzvah. Of course, if he doesn't do it, anyone can do it. But he gets first shot at it. So the Gemara says, okay, he did the shochet, did the shchita. He's about to do kisei adam, and the guy knocked him over, tackled him, and he ran. And someone else did the kisei adam. He took his mitzvah. So the Gemara talks about there's a knas, there's a penalty of asara zehuvim. There's a certain amount of money you have to pay as a punishment. You stole you chopped someone's mitzvah, and therefore you have to pay asara zehuvim. So the question is, what about here? Someone calls up the Kohen, and then the Yisrael runs up, no one's paying attention. If he didn't start the Aliyah, Baruch Hashem isn't the Aliyah. It's after you say Baruch Hashem. But if they didn't notice he started the Aliyah, and he went ahead, so therefore the halacha is that, so the question Tosas is, does he have to pay Asara Zehuvim? So Tosas says no. Since it's only a din d'Rabbanan of the Kiddashto, the din rights of the Kiddashto is who a Kohen can marry and not to be Matame Lameis. But to give a Kohen the first Aliyah, so apparently he holds that halacha is only by a din d'Oraisa. That's a two chidushim in Tosas. But
first again, to clarify that the two again are the din d'Oraisa and the fact that of the Yisur he can't.
Right, the din d'Oraisa, the Kiddashto Bal Karcha not to be Tamei Lameis, and who
Both
we,
houses, you're saying. You
yeah,
can't
those are the rice, and that he can't be mochel. That's the explicit Gemara v'kidashto fil bal karcha. Regarding the Aliyahs, that's a shiloh if it's a deraisa Rabbanan, but people assume you can be mochel that. That's what I'm saying. Even if you know it, yeah, right. So right. So midrabanan for that, in that case you can't. So the Gemara makes a distinction between sheni v'chamishi versus Shabbos. The Gemara says on sheni v'chamishi there aren't that many people here, so therefore we let the Kohen be mochel. But on Shabbos, when there are a lot of people in shul, we say the Kohen shouldn't be mochel. That's what the Gemara says. Comes along the Bali Tosas and says, but that was only Bisman HaGemara. During Tosas' time, they said there was no difference between Sheni v'Chamishi and Shabbos. The Crusades destroyed many villages, but there were only there were 10, 20 people in the village. They didn't have, the Bali Tosas went to shul, whether it was Tuesday or Wednesday. So he says the din doesn't apply during his time. It's all the same. Sheni v'Chamishi has a din like Shabbos, and they can't be. But Rav Moshe writes, Bisman hazeh, which revert back to the din of Gemara. There are a lot more people in shul on Shabbos than during the week, and therefore he says, on Sheni v'Chamishi, the Kohen can be mochel, but not on Shabbos.